Welcome back to JCPod, partner with Stare Down Sports. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell, and man, episode 136. Gonna be a fun one today. We're gonna keep it very simple, most like normal weeks. NFL news, conference tourneys, March Madness breakdown. When it comes to the conference tourneys, I'm pretty much just gonna talk about pretty much who I think is just gonna win it. Kind of an outline of some potential teams I like to win the conferences and all that. And then when it comes to March Madness breakdown, we're just gonna do the updated matchups of what they would look like if the tournament started today, and we'll just go based off of that. And then, of course, before we get to all that, we'll do the normal, talk about a little bit of NFL news. Since we finished Tuesday, so we pretty much got the first half of the franchise tag players. We got the second half of the franchise tag players to talk about today, along with some other small news that come up as well. So, should be a fun one today. Without any further ado, we'll basically hop right into it. So, when it comes to NFL news, first thing that comes to mind, Michael Pittman got franchise tagged by the Colts. Huge. First time the Colts have used the franchise tag since 2013 when they used it on Pat McAfee. So, very, very good sign because pretty much they have now until, I think it's July 5th, I believe is the next date, to get a deal done with him. Or then Michael Pittman will have to play in the franchise tag. So, that'll be the next big date. It's pretty much around like June, July, see what happens. But, good news. Regardless, now they're going to keep Michael Pittman. It kind of stinks that they weren't able to come to a deal, but the Colts have a lot of cap room, so I'm hoping that means that they just weren't able to find the right wordage, I guess, so they're going to move on. The Bills, so the cap hit is affecting a lot of people. We saw that Russell Wilson's $85 million in cap for him, but obviously they had to get rid of him for him being bad and whatever reasons. Some other teams are just trying to get rid of people to keep cap space, and some of these are some big names, like for the Bills. Mitch Morse, Jordan Poyer, and Tre'Davious White all are being cut or released because of the cap hit, pretty much. The Bills are one of the few. Deontay Harty as well, who was one of the returners / receivers. Just crazy, man. Absolutely wild to think that those felt like they'd be some of the bigger name players. Like, obviously, Mitch Morse isn't the biggest name. He's an offensive lineman, so. But Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, I know Deontay Harty isn't, but Tre'Davious White and Jordan Poyer have been bigger names for the secondary when it comes to the Bills. So it's just going to be weird to see them not there. I wonder if they'll get signed back on, like, maybe smaller deals. But Poyer, I don't know. I won't lie. Between him and White, I feel like those two might be gone, man. Especially if they just let them kind of go like this and they didn't restructure anything. Because, like, Von Miller got his deal restructured. But, man, I also kind of understand, though. Tre'Davious White's been through a lot of injuries. Jordan Poyer been banged up a little bit past 2 years, but man, it's just wild to think about that. Commanders are signing Zach Ertz to a 1-year deal. It's 1 year, $5 million. I actually don't know why they're doing it. I'm assuming just to have some depth and just have somebody to maybe like teach their young guys and also have just as a veteran there, but I don't know. Zach Ertz, that doesn't feel like, out of all the signings the Commanders could have had, Zach Ertz just feels like, oh, okay, that's not horrible, but it's just kind of like, all right, it just feels a little bit weird. Same with this one. Bills are reuniting with Mitch Trubisky. He's going back to the Buffalo Bills. I don't get that one as well. I just don't. I don't have much to say about that one, honestly, at all. I just truly do not get it at all. Broncos allowed Wilson to talk to teams. They released him. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I'm confused. I thought releasing him meant that he's allowed to search for other teams, but I guess there is a chance they could just be like, hey, you're sitting home and you're eating this. I guess that is a realistic thing they could do, but yeah, no, that just makes no sense. $85 million in dead cap. That's a new NFL record. The franchise will be on the hook for $39 million this year. So somebody can sign Russell Wilson for like $1 million or $2 million, and the Broncos got to cover the rest. The Broncos have to cover $39 million. The team just was an absolute fail and fall off since Russell Wilson joined. I'm not going to blame him. I'm not going to blame Nate Hackett. I'm not going to blame. I don't know who to blame. There's a lot of blame that can be passed around, but regardless, yeah, that was just not a good situation, man. The Broncos have just been a mess for the past 2 years, and it just didn't get any better. Antoine Winfield, Justin Madubuike, Jalen Johnson, Michael Pittman, I just mentioned, all tagged. And also Brian Burns. He was the last one to be tagged. Kyle Duggar from the Patriots also got the tag as well. L'Jarius Sneed, we talked about him. We talked about T. Higgins before. I think that covers pretty much everyone. And pending free agents who are not tagged are Christian Wilkins, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Tony Pollard. So those are all players now that are for sure not franchise tagged. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on to see if they're gonna, because they're free agents, man. Saquon, like I said, he's interested in the Texans. I have no idea where Josh Jacobs is gonna go. I'm curious if he's gonna sign back or not, but I would think so. But at the same time, I don't know, man. He's gonna be a big name. They got Derrick Henry out there as well. There's gonna be a really, really big market. The Eagles are parting ways with Devontae Maddox. That's another move they made. It's the first Kyle Byard, and now they got Devontae Maddox. I'm assuming this one has to do with also Cap, and then he's been hurt, a bit banged up the last few years, so that one makes a little bit of sense. Peyton Manning's trying to sign Belichick to Omaha broadcast, and I think ESPN, or I forget who it was, but somebody's trying to get Bill Belichick and Nick Saban to go together to have like a GOAT cast. That'd be pretty fascinating. Imagine Bill Belichick. What would you do? Would you have like Noah Eagle be the play-by-play guy, and then you have Bill Belichick and Nick Saban together just talking? I'd be really interested in hearing about that. Especially if they both sign Omaha Productions. No, I have no idea what's going to happen in this Bill Belichick situation, but he's for sure going to TV, it sounds like. And, I mean, if he joins Omaha, man, that would be pretty interesting. Let's see. So, L'Jarius Sneed draws trade interest from the Lions and others. Obviously makes sense. I thought they would say more. Lions, Falcons, Colts, Jaguars, Vikings, Patriots, and Titans are among the teams affected. This would be a huge one for the Colts. But, because Colts really, really do need a quarterback, but I just don't know. He wants money. That's the only issue. And I know the Colts got a decent amount of money, but it just feels like you can go young with corners sometimes and be okay. Because, I mean, the Colts had young corners last year. Like, I forget. I think Juju Brents might have been one of them. I can't think of their young corners, but they had, like, 2 young corners. They didn't play horrible last year, but I don't know. I might be also bullshit. And it feels like you probably need to at least play one big corner because of the way NFL receivers are nowadays. Cowboys are tendering Parsons' 5th-year option as a defensive end. Opposed to his listed position at linebacker, the 24-year-old would earn $21 million as a defensive end compared to $24 million as a linebacker. So they're pretty much doing a little bit of gamesmanship. I mean, he's getting a good amount of money regardless. They're just gamesmanshipping it a little bit so they can keep as much money as they can. Dolphins are negotiating a deal with Jonnu Smith. I won't lie, I didn't think the Dolphins would be the team of choice for him. He didn't play too bad last year, so it probably will be an interesting fit. I won't lie, the Dolphins released Jerome Baker as well. They let Christian Wilkins walk. Holy hell, that was hard to say. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with them defensively. Because the Dolphins are going to be a really interesting team defense. Seems like they're going to save money for Tua, is what I'm hearing. So if they do end up paying Tua, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the other players around. Because if you think about it, Tyreek Hill needs to get paid, and he already has been. Jalen Waddle has an upcoming contract that needs to come up. Who else on their team? Probably about it, but regardless, I mean, the money's going to start coming an issue for the Dolphins. They're going to, especially if they try to pay Tua a shit ton, they're going to run into a similar problem as the Chiefs did, but the Chiefs were able to make their defense work. That just means, hey, if you're going to pay a shit ton of players on offense, you're going to have to find some young guys and find some cheap veterans. Chargers releasing Eric Kendricks. I don't know where he's going to sign. The Chargers will free up $6.5 million in the cap space for releasing him, so very curious who they end up are going to sign. I don't know because the Chargers, I don't know. I want to see them year one in Harbaugh to see what they actually need, because I just feel like they're pretty talented across the board, and with Harbaugh as a coach, he should be able to hopefully unlock that talent in a way that Staley wasn't able to. So maybe losing Hendricks won't be as bad. That's the thing, is that they are so... The Chargers are weird, because they have so much potential, and they potentially be so good, and they have so much talent on the roster. It's like, man, I don't know what they need, because they haven't been using the talent right. So it's one of those situations where they actually could need offensive help, but we don't know because they have all that talent, and they were just used so poorly last year that just makes you wonder. Jerome Baker is released from the Dolphins. We just talked about that. Another defensive player they're letting go. I think Van Ginkel is also a free agent. Like I said, the Dolphins are doing some weird stuff with their defense. I don't know what to expect from them. I'm not gonna lie. I personally would not pay Tua as much money as they're probably gonna end up paying him. But at the same time, also, you see what happens when you don't have a quarterback. We've seen some of these teams that just are abysmal and not fun to watch at all. So at least if you have a quarterback, it's probably better to keep the guy than risk trying to find another guy. I mean, you see the Patriots, Mac Jones. I mean, he fell off a cliff, and you saw how wild and loud it got last year. So I mean, even with how quote unquote bad of a season the Dolphins had, getting beat pretty bad by the Chiefs and having a bit of a slide towards the end, I mean, they still have the talent. They still could potentially be good. I won't lie. I don't know if I'm a Tua guy or not. Fully for sure or not. It just sucks, man. It feels like pre-injury when he's able to run around and move a little bit, it was a lot more fun to watch him. Ever since like the hips injuries, all the head hits and everything, like it just feels like he lost a little bit part of himself. So it just feels like, I'm not gonna say he's playing scared, obviously, because I don't think it's that. It's just, it's almost like a little bit of a delay. Instead of running, he'd rather sit in the pocket just a half second longer. Instead of making a play with his feet, he's sitting in the pocket trying to stretch it with his eyes a little bit. Maybe sometimes when he should just be running. I don't know. There's just something weird about Tua. Since he's not been able to run as much, it's just like, man. It really sucks. I mean, that's what happens with injuries. They just slowly dwindle and take away parts of the game. Michael Pittman, we already talked about him. First time since 2013 they've used it. I got an article on State on Sports if you want to read like super details about it. But I mean, it's rumored sounds like it's about 21 million, but we'll see. I mean, these deals are all lies. Apparently, Mike Evans' deal I told you guys about, what was it, Tuesday, is 29 million guaranteed, 6 million is injury guaranteed. So like, and regardless of what they tell us, the numbers are always a lie. You got to wait like another week or two to actually hear the real number, because for whatever reason they just like to lie about numbers. The NFL does sometimes, especially agents. Agents are using that as like a, look, I got my guy a $50 million deal, but in reality it's a $29 million deal per. It's 29 million guaranteed, 6 million with injuries guaranteed. So it's like, it's still not the best deal. But I mean, it's not the best deal, but you got him a shit ton of money. Like 54 guaranteed versus 29 guaranteed. Obviously, there's still, regardless, it's big money. So I don't know why I'm talking like it's pocket change, but regardless, it's big money. But it's crazy what the agents come out with, like, oh, I got my guy all this money, and then you read back, it's like, oh, half of it's guaranteed, the other half is all incentives that he's never going to reach. It's funny how the NFL contract situation works. Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams were released. Jamal Adams not too shocking with all the injuries he had. It just sucked, man. I remember when Jamal Adams was amazing. I remember watching him at the Jets. There was a year in my league, I think I did 2 years in fantasy football where I did defensive players. Man. Shout out to Jamal Adams, man. He was on one of my teams where I did defensive players, and he was a dog. Got a lot of points. Made me fall in love with him then, and then ever since then, I feel like I've just watched him be injured every year. 1 year it's this. Oh, yeah, the Seahawks are also cutting veteran tight end Will Dissly, which is another one. But, man, parting with Adams and Diggs saves the Seahawks about $27.5 million. Releasing Dissly, Dilly, shout out Bud Light. Dissly released another $7 million. So that's about $34 million in cap space they're saving releasing those three guys. Quandre Diggs has been a really good part, I feel like, of Seattle since he's been there. But I guess obviously they decided that they need to move on from him. Jamal Adams, I get a little bit more because he's been injured and he's missed 33 total games due to injuries in his 4 seasons, and he missed all but one game in 2022 to a torn quad. If you remember 2022, he tore his quad first game. Jalen Johnson gets franchise tagged by the Bears. Josh Allen gets franchise tagged by the Jaguars. Those are 2 huge ones, especially the Jalen Johnson one. The Bears need to do whatever they can to keep this guy. They need to work out a deal with that guy if they want to start getting better. Especially if they're going to get Caleb Williams. They might as well try to keep a corner or two, keep the defense as strong as they can, because they might need like a year to get him fully acclimated to the NFL. He could end up having a great season like CJ Stroud, but I just feel like the Bears are going to need like a year or two regardless. Because it's the Bears, man. I just need to see a little bit more out of them. Bad taste in my mouth, man, from Bears. Dalton Schultz signs a 3-year, $36 million extension with the Texans. Shout out to him. 23.5 fully guaranteed. No idea if that's the real number guaranteed, but it's about that much. Bucks tag Winfield. We talked about that. We talked about Brian Burns. We talked about I think that'll be it. I think it'll be the last thing because we talked about pretty much everything else. So it's a quick little news burn, nothing too bad at all. The biggest news I would say from this is probably just all the cutting and everything. Here's some off-season transactions, see if anything we managed. We talked about the Bills, talked about Commanders. Bills have re-signed Taylor Rapp to a deal, and they also re-signed an offensive lineman, David Edwards. Texans signed Kaimi Fairbairn to a 3-year, $50 million extension as well. Seahawks release Brian Moan. I honestly don't. And the Cowboys released Carl Davis. Those two I don't think I actually know, so I don't know how much of a... I don't know how many implications it will have. Let's see, we talked about all those. Evander Mosley is getting signed to a 1-year extension from the Lions. Jaguars released Darius Williams, safety Rashawn Jenkins. That Rashawn Jenkins, well, I'll admit. And Williams. Both those guys are actually playing pretty solid for the Jaguars. So obviously that's a cap situation. Panthers releasing Hayden Hurst. Jets released CJ Uzama. Man. Colts are signing Jack Anderson to a 1-year deal. It's a center. It's a backup center, I'm assuming. Shout out. The Dolphins signed Isaiah Mack to defensive tackle, so that makes me think they're probably scared that they might lose their boy, Christian Wilkins. Bills trade Ryan Bates to the Bears. Jaguars release Foley Fatukasi, I believe is how you say it. I don't want to butcher it, so... Yeah, I think that's... Giants released Mark Glowinski. Shout out the ex-Colt. We'll leave it there, because I think other than that, yeah, we pretty much caught up everything, the new thing. But that's what it's off-season tracker so far. This is, I think, like now the 3rd to 5th season in the new league year, so still a lot to happen. But the franchise tag period is over now officially, so I actually don't know what the next big thing is for the NFL. Might be the draft. I believe it is draft. Could be wrong. Other than some free agent moves, obviously the teams are going to make here and there. I think the next big event to look forward to is the draft. So just obviously I'll keep eyes and ears on the ground, see if there's any other big trades or anything. Keep an eye out on Stand On Sports. We'll hopefully keep up with most of this. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. I guess I probably should prep for the March Madness and everything, huh? Yeah, like I said, for when it comes to conference tournaments and everything, I won't lie, I probably should have looked up the site. I'm hoping the same site I used last year will be up, and I can just quickly peek at the tournaments. Oh yeah, that team. Mind you, some of this is going to change because there's games Saturday to be played, so there's a chance that some of these spots could change slightly. When it comes to at least the conference tournaments, March Madness is obviously going to change by the time we come back on Tuesday, and I'll talk about Tuesday the new teams that are in, new teams that are out. But when it comes to conference tourneys for college basketball, when it comes to the the conference tourneys, all of them are going to be the same. There's just small situations. Like, for example, there was a chance last night that if Villanova beat Seton Hall would end up having to play week 1 of the Big East tournament. Shout out to Seton Hall last night. By the way, boy had a quick 7-0 betting night yesterday in the college basketball. Let's get it, man. First perfect betting day of the year, regardless of any sport, so that's pretty awesome to see. By the way, so I'm seeing all the tournament release dates, but they don't have the... I would love to see, be able to see what the teams look like. Here we go. I think I might have found it. Shout out to the Athletic, honestly, man. Athletic has the tweets up from all the teams. I actually have the picture of the bracket and has their time, so shout out to them. But yeah, like I said, so we're pretty much going to go over the brackets a little bit. We're going to go over the betting market as well. So, sorry, I'm trying to, I just have to finish setting up one more thing on a screen, and then we're going to go be ready for whatever you call it. Be ready for this conference breakdown. Because, yeah, man, I'm excited. It's been a fun college basketball season. It's just been fun, man. I won't lie. This is going to be one of those weird seasons. Like, right now, it's Houston, UConn, and Purdue. They've separated themselves from the pack. They're way up here. There's a bit of a gap. Then there's everybody else. But this might be one of those years where anybody can win it. Like, I'm not going to lie. Right now, my gut is, if I can't pick Purdue as a fan, I think UConn's probably going to go back-to-back. They've had the best resume, best whatever you want to call it. So I think they're going to potentially go back-to-back. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I think we're ready now. So when it comes to conference tournaments, man, the only Arizona and Pac-12, there's a chance for the conference tournament to be outright. Those two teams play tonight. Winner, I actually don't know how the situation works, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but Arizona's the favorite, so I'm assuming if Arizona wins, they are the outright champion. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. We aren't here to talk about the games tonight. We're here to talk about conference tournament. So we're going to go to the American East. The favorite is Vermont at minus 230. Then you got UMass, Lowell, Bryant, and Maine as the follows behind it. Maine is plus 4,000, so that's when you get into the deep parts of it. So, I believe these games are today, potentially. Because they got Vermont versus UL Albany, UNH versus Binghamton. Oh my, what is that? I don't think I've ever seen this college before. Shout out. Binghamton, alright. No, I'm not going to lie. This might actually be Saturday. Or Saturday's the championship, sorry. They have the Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So, yeah. It looks like, let's see. Quarterfinal actually begins at 2 p.m. on Saturday. So, that is... Okay, so all 4 games are going to be played on Saturday. Cool. Sweet. Sorry, so, by the way, this part will be slightly messy when it comes to the times and everything, because I might not know the exact times for some of these, so I'm going to try my best, I'll be honest, to read out the times and everything, but reading out the times of, like, when these games are going to be played might be a little bit hard, but I'm at least going to try my best. So if there's, like, a little bit of hiccups here and there, that's what it's going to be. I'm not going to lie, I might just be done. I might be a square and just take the favorite at the 1 seed of Vermont. Obviously, Vermont's going to have a really good path. I don't know too much about this conference, too, realistically, so it's, like, I'll admit, it's a bit harder for me to just straight up say, like, oh, yeah, I think that, yeah, Vermont's easily going to have the easiest schedule. They've played their 7-1 against Quad 1, blah, blah, like that stuff. I won't lie. This tournament, at least for this team, I do not know too well. I believe Vermont's already in the tournament, at least, though, so I was assuming that they'd be able to keep it strong. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I don't know too much for this. I was trying to stall, see if I could look something up real quick to see if I was right. I truly do not know. I'm probably going to go with Vermont. Bryant might not be a bad option just because I remember seeing them once before. Like, I remember their name from before. I don't lie. This tournament, I really don't got too much of a lean, so we'll probably just skip it. But yeah, Vermont, you got UMBC, UMass Lowell, Maine, Bryant. Is that Binghamton? I could be totally wrong about the name. University of New Hampshire, and then University of Albany and Vermont. That's what we're looking at for the American East. Like I said, I'm probably just going to take Vermont because I'm a square, but if not, maybe take Bryant plus 1,200. Don't know anything about this tournament. Just looking at the numbers. Moving on to the next time. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Right. It's okay. My apologies. This is going to be a lot smoother than I thought. The thing's right under it. So, the games start Saturday. The title game is Saturday, March 16th. So, pretty much these will go throughout the week. So, the regular season wraps up Tuesday night. Vermont is once again the number 1 team, has been for 7 of the past 8 AME tournaments. They're seeking their 10th NCAA tournament appearance since 2003. Vermont is. Shout out. I believe it's Vermont. Shout out. Honestly, that's pretty dope. So now next we'll move on to the ASUN. Stetson is minus 110. You got Stetson minus 110. Austin P. I actually don't know. I've never understood how to say that. Is it PA? Austin PA? I actually don't know. Austin PA, Jacksonville, and North Alabama. Because I guess you can't pick Eastern Kentucky. I won't lie, these games might have started already. If I can't pick I can't pick Kennesaw for some reason. I can't pick. Maybe they just don't let you pick some of these smaller teams. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm just trying to give out odds. Maybe see. I have no idea for this tournament either, so I really can't give you a name. I think I read somewhere that Eastern Kentucky had a sad upset. So yeah, they actually, some of these games have oh shit. I forgot some of these tournaments already started. The semifinals are today. So I'm assuming when it comes to the updated bracket, so we're gonna have to look this up live. You getting this live, baby. Yeah, no, so I guess some of this has already happened, so I don't. Obviously, these are the 4 teams you can bet on, so obviously some of these games have already happened. I'm assuming, so if it's Austin, PA, there's 4 teams left, so I'm assuming Austin, PA obviously beat whoever they were supposed to play. You got Kennesaw, so that means Jacksonville beat Kennesaw and then beat Eastern Kentucky. By the way, shout out to Iron College Basketball. They were talking about this the other day, and I was confused what they were talking about. Now I understand. Eastern Kentucky got beat by Jacksonville, so that's Jacksonville versus Austin, PA. And then you got North Alabama versus Stetson. Stetson's the number 2 seed, so the number 1 seed for the ASUN is gone, and the way the NIT works, you most likely will not be seeing them in the NIT because there's no automatic bids for the regular season champion, and I believe they're like 17 and 14 or whatever, so their season's probably over after getting upset by Jacksonville, the number 10 seed. See, I'm not going to lie, I might put a little bit on, I'm either in for Stetson or Jacksonville. They're on opposite sides of the tourney. Stetson is minus 110. Jacksonville is plus 500, but Jacksonville has made a little bit of a run now. Some of these games are today, so I might be... You know what? We're going to look up Jacksonville real quick. See what's up with them. I might take that today. Jacksonville... Oh, that sucks. Jacksonville plays Stetson. Damn it. So I think the winner of that game, will be my winner. So I might... Whoever it is, that's my winner for this one. So shout out to the Athletic Sun. These started Monday. In true madness form, here we go. The regular season champion Eastern Kentucky lost its first game in tournament at home. The number is 10 seed Jacksonville. Yep, so we just talked about that. That is crazy, man. So we'll go to the Big South now. Like I said, some of these have started, so you might not get all the teams. The tournament for this, I guess, is Friday. So their semis start tomorrow. So it looks like we got High Point, who is the number 1 seed there, plus 105. That's my lane right away. Then you got Winthrop, Gardner-Webb, Longwood, UNC Asheville's right under High Point. I forgot to mention them. Sorry, Radford. I'll burn through this one. I truly have no clue. I'm just going to take High Point plus money. They're the 1 seed. I have no idea when it comes to the Big South. Shout out to the Big South. Let's see. High Point earned its first number 1 seed since 2016. First year under Alan Huss. By the way, shout out the Athletic. I'm stealing some of their stats for this. Panthers will have to hold off defending champ UNC Asheville and star big man Drew Pember. Well, High Point is hosting. So shout out High Point. I might pick them because they're the host. The Big Sky, man. Eastern Washington, Montana, Weber State, Northern Colorado, Portland State. Another one I really have no clue. We might just go with the 1 seed there. This is already, I believe this tournament starts March 9th, so... Yeah, I don't know. My lane is Eastern Washington, obviously just because they're the... Whoa! By the way, in the middle of this, Justin Simmons just got released by the Broncos. He was count 18.25 against the Cap. Wow. So, due to this Russell Wilson fallout now, they have to get rid of Justin Simmons. That's a huge, huge one. Man, that's a huge loss. Justin Simmons has been a dog. I can't believe they're actually releasing him. That's shocking. I understand it's a cap thing, but he's been one of their best players on defense for a while. Man, that's crazy. I'm not gonna lie, shout out. But yeah, like I said, for this tournament, I might pick Eastern Washington just simply for the fact that they're the 1 seed. I really don't have any other lane. Like, there's another small conference. Don't really have a lane. But them being plus money, I like the 1 seed being plus money, so I might take them for this, especially for the smaller conference. Smaller conferences, biddies, I don't know. I'm just gonna leave that be, like I said. The league finishes its regular season Monday night, which it already did. Eastern Washington has already clinched a regular season title for the 2nd straight year. Weber State is one of the best mid-major players in America. Ooh. So Weber State plus 280 is a guy to keep an eye on. To the Coastal Athletic now. We'll move to that conference. By the way, like I said, we'll burn through some of these a little bit quicker since I don't know them. Coastal Athletic, I actually have no clue. It's Charleston, Hofstra, UNC Wilmington, Drexel. Yeah, I got no clue for this one. This is the first one we just straight up skip. I don't know anything about this. When Charleston won its final game to repeat as regular season champs, and it looks to make a 2nd straight NCAA tournament under Pat Kelsey. Apparently, number 4 seed UNC Wilmington beat Kentucky this year at Rupp Arena. So that's another team to watch out for. Yeah, no, this one sounds like to be wild. So I would check out the Coastal Athletics Association because that seems like they're going to have a little bit of a wild tournament with how good some teams are. Horizon League tournament, you got Youngstown State as a favorite with Wright State right under them, Oakland, Green Bay. Yet again, another one I have really absolutely no clue on, so I'm just going to... Oakland's the 1 seed, it seems like, but they aren't the favorite. Youngstown State is, which is interesting. Apparently, Oakland's looking for its first NCAA trip since 2011. Detroit Mercy, if you want to get absolutely disgusting, I don't think you can bet on them. Detroit Mercy apparently went 1-30 this year. And I think they have to play in this tournament. Yeah, they're playing Milwaukee. That's crazy. 1-30 is insane. Man, that sucked. Yeah, I have no idea for this one though as well. I have nobody really give out. No leans. I haven't kept up with that league this year that well. Missouri Valley, you got Indiana State, Drake, Bradley, Northern Iowa, those schools. Obviously, most people are going to take Indiana State because of how I think I will as well. Indiana State was by far clearly one of the better teams this year. I mean, they have one of the best records, one of the better teams. I'm going to be looking for them to do good. March Madness is always, let's see, NCAA tournament teams. They have Indiana State and Drake. The Sycamores have been a feel-good story this season. And then number 2, Drake, is led by a superstar. And Bradley is also named the mention. So Bradley, Drake, and Indiana State, those are 3 teams we want to watch out for in this tournament. Like I said, I don't really know too much when it comes to that, so I'm going to stay out of it. Northeast Conference, Merrimack, Central Connecticut, Wagner, and Lemoyne are all that's left. So, that means the number 1 seed got upset, I believe. Yeah, the number 1 seed got upset. So, I don't know. This is the same one that I think Fairleigh Dickinson came from this conference. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to skip this one as well again. Central Connecticut edged out Merrimack on the final day of the season. There's number 1 seed. Merrimack is eligible to play for the NCAA tournament for the first time. So, yeah, Merrimack, I might pick them just simply for the fact that it seems like they have a lot to play for and the first time in a while to go for something, and they are the better team in this. Ohio Valley, no idea again. Low Rock, UT Martin, Morehead State, finished with 3-way tie. With Little Rock earning the tiebreaker for the number 1 seed, number 8 seed Southern Illinois is ineligible for the automatic bid. It's still transitioning to Division 1. So Southern Indiana won't matter at all for this conference. So I don't know. Like another one I don't know, Patriot League. We'll probably skip this. I'll just mention some teams in it again because I at least want to shout them out, but I don't know. Patriot League, Colgate is minus 210, and you got Lehigh, American at plus 7, plus 800. It seems like Colgate's going to be the runaway. Yep, they just had the biggest conference. They ran away with the full 6 games. So, yeah, no, I'm not. I was Colgate, not much to talk about. They ran away with that conference, so we're going to stick with that. The Southern Conference, shout out. Mercer and schools like that. Samford dominated the league and has won school record 26 games. So shout out to Samford looking to do some damage. Southland, McNeese State, yep, that's all you need to know. McNeese State, they're probably going to be the team to move on. If I had to guess. The Summit League, by the way, I'm sorry, I did not mean to spend so long as I did on the first one. That's why I'm trying to burn through these last few. Summit League, South Dakota State, St. Thomas. Yeah, no. Don't know that conference really as well, but South Dakota State won the league by 2 games, and the Jackrabbits are looking for their 8th tournament title since 2012. Kansas City won 6 straight to take number 2, so they have a chance to get an automatic bid, obviously, as well. The Sun Belt, we got James Madison, Appalachian State, Troy. James Madison took an early lead this season, but ever since it's been kind of falling off a bit. James Madison got all the attention early, like I just said, and then winning at Michigan State. But Appalachian State, which beat Auburn December, swept them. So there's so those are going to be the 2 teams you want to watch for. It's James Madison and it seems like Appalachian State, which are the 2 favorite. Plus 140, plus 200. Those are the 2 you want to look for. The West Coast Conference, now we're talking. Now we're going to start getting some of the bigger conferences. By the way, I might save that tournament bracket breakdown. We're going to burn through that quick, most likely, because this has gone pretty long. I just want to share that. Gonzaga's favorite minus 135. St. Mary's right behind them at plus 115. Then you got San Francisco plus 1,400. Yeah, St. Mary's claimed the regular season title, but Gonzaga finished strong, obviously, because they beat them on the road. And then they beat San Francisco in the final week. St. Mary's. So both these teams will make the tournament no matter what, but man. So, yeah, regardless, these 2 teams should make it. So, if somebody wins from this league, that could be a huge chance to get 3 teams from this league in. And I'd probably say San Francisco if they're going to pick a 3rd team. But, yeah, no, I think that's about it. That might be where we can leave it, man. I don't think A lot of the Big Ten, like I said, I planned on talking about like the Big Ten, Big West, all that as well, but they don't start for a whole nother week. Like, I won't lie, we can break those down Tuesday because they should have those tournaments out and fully done by Tuesday, so I might save it for just then. Because like, I could talk to you now, like Florida Atlantic, Memphis, but I'd like to see the bracket. I want to see the bracket so I can get a better idea. So yeah, like I said, so I didn't give out too many like picks I liked. Hopefully, I'm not gonna be able to repeat it because I totally don't remember fully what I said. But if you go back, click through, I at least went through every game, or every conference tournament that they had, like that's pretty much started or is gonna start within the next day or two. So hopefully it gives you an idea. You have some teams to look forward to. Shout out to Athletic yet again for sharing this article. I like some of the tidbits they had because some of these tidbits caught me up as well because there's some stuff I remembered about teams, but then I read it, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot this was the team that did that. So yeah, shout out, like I said, yet again, shout out to Athletic, and like I said, we are going to finish this now with bracketology. We did this Tuesday where I just announced new teams. Now we're going to do it by announcing some of the games. So, for example, North Full Sail, Central Connecticut, Little Rock, Grambling. I have no idea between the 16 seeds. So I'm not going to pick those. Wake Forest versus New Mexico. I think I got to lean New Mexico after the big slide that Wake Forest has been on. I mean, Wake Forest is slowly playing themselves out of the tournament the way they've been playing. I think they've lost 5 of the last 6. Horrible loss to Georgia Tech. Went down a lot. At one point, it's 40-25 at half. They come all the way back just to end up losing on a buzzer beater. Seton Hall got a huge win against Nova last night. Hopefully that if they beat DePaul and then have like 1 or 2 wins in the Big East tournament, there's a chance they can get an auto bid. I don't know. We'll have to see because usually, shout out to Gary Parrish, he said usually teams in the 60s and 70s don't get auto bids. So that's going to be a weird part, but man, Seton Hall had a really big win last night, so that's a huge win for them. Virginia, it's going to be Seton Hall versus Virginia. I think I'd have to lean Seton Hall there, but I would not be sure. I just like Seton Hall's guard play. Kaderi Richmond is really good. Adane Owusu. Sorry, I butchered bro's name, but I actually liked what I saw from the guard from Seton Hall, and so I think they have some potential there, but that's going to be a tough matchup. So yeah, I would think from the 11 seeds, I'd have to take New Mexico and Seton Hall. So we'll go Midwest, Purdue, I think they win, obviously. Texas, Mississippi State, I'll take Texas there. Clemson, Richmond, I would probably take Richmond there, I'm not going to lie. I would not be shocked Clemson won, but I'm going to take Richmond as an upset. Kentucky, Appalachian State, I like Kentucky there. South Florida, Wisconsin. If Wisconsin's going to stay there, I'm taking South Florida. I think Wisconsin's liable to get upset in the first round of the tournament. Obviously, I think they have the talent to win, but they have been playing, I'm not going to be saying bad, but they haven't been playing good really at all to end the season. So they've had it really, really rough. And then I think Baylor will beat Oakland. So then it'll be South Florida, Baylor. I'll probably have Baylor moving on. Kentucky, Richmond, maybe Kentucky, and then Purdue, Texas at Purdue. Then it'll be Purdue, Kentucky, Baylor, and Marquette would be my Elite Eight. My Elite Eight on this side. Or I guess my Sweet 16. Those would be 4 teams I like. Those are 4 teams I like because, yeah, I like Marquette to beat Sam Houston. I also like Dayton to beat Oklahoma. So then we'll move on to the East. That's just right next door over. UConn, Eastern Kentucky, I'm taking UConn. Texas Tech, Nebraska, probably taking Tech. Washington State, Princeton, I think I got to take Washington State there. Alabama, UC Irvine. Excuse me. I got to take Alabama. South Carolina, Seton Hall, and Virginia. I think Seton Hall, if they get there, can steal at Virginia. I think also has a chance, but a little less chance. So I'll say since Seton Hall moved on, we'll just say South Carolina won. Kansas, we'll say they won there. Villanova, Gonzaga. That's going to be a good game. I'm going to take Gonzaga. Will not be shocked if they lose. And then North Carolina, I'll take them to move on. I'll take North Carolina over Villanova or Gonzaga. I'd probably take Kansas over Seton Hall or South Carolina, whoever got winning there. Alabama, Washington State, I'd probably take... I would not be shocked if Alabama gets upset right there, so I might take Washington State. If not, I think Alabama will get beat by UConn in the following round. So I have UConn. So I got UConn, Alabama, and then I would probably have UConn winning. And then we got we'll just say South Carolina, Kansas. South Carolina, or Kansas will win that, and then I maybe say North Carolina beats Kansas. So then I have UConn, so I have UConn, Kansas, and we'll say UConn, Kansas, Purdue, and Marquette in my Final Four right now. That's my Final Four as of today. Sorry. I guess that'd be my Elite Eight. Because we'll have 2 teams on the Elite Eight. That's what I'm thinking for the Elite Eight so far from when it comes to the Midwest and East. That's what we just broke down. Now we're going to go to the West and South. West, Arizona. I think Arizona beats whoever this 16 seed is. Nevada, Michigan State. I actually think Michigan State wins this year. Shout out my boy Rowan and his boys. Grand Canyon, BYU. That's going to be a tough one. I got BYU because of the 3-pointers. Illinois, Stanford. I got Illinois there. New Mexico or Wake Forest versus Florida. I actually think either of those teams could beat Florida. But Florida's not been playing too bad at all, so we'll just take New Mexico just for the fact so we can have an upset down here. But I would not be shocked if Florida won. Creighton, High Point, I got Creighton. Boise State, Florida Atlantic, I'll take Florida Atlantic. Iowa State, Eastern Washington, I'll take Iowa State. Iowa State's a 2 seed now. We looked at this, I think, like a week or 2 weeks ago, and they were like a 4 or 5 seed. So shout out to them, man. I have Iowa State losing to Florida Atlantic potentially. Yeah, we'll just say they lose to Florida Atlantic. We have Creighton beating either Florida or New Mexico. Illinois will probably... I might take them to lose to BYU, honestly. I'll take Illinois to lose. You know what? We'll take Illinois to win just for fun. And then Michigan State will lose to Arizona, or if they win, regardless. I'll take the winner of Arizona, Michigan State to probably be one of my 2 teams I pick. And then the other team I'll pick is either Florida Atlantic or Creighton. I don't know which one I like. We'll just say Creighton. So Creighton and either Michigan State or Arizona. I can't decide between Michigan State and Arizona. I think it's an equal tie. Those are my 2 teams for the West. And then South, to finish it off the show, we got Houston, South Dakota State. Give me Houston. Northwestern Colorado State. Give me Northwestern. Auburn, McNeese State. I think I might take McNeese there in a 12 upset. San Diego State, Charleston. Give me San Diego State there. Utah State, Indiana State. I want to lean Utah State right there slightly. Duke, Akron, give me Duke. St. Mary's, TCU, give me St. Mary's for now. And then Tennessee, Quinnipiac, give me Tennessee. I like Tennessee to move on to play either Indiana State or Duke. And we'll take Duke, and we'll say that Tennessee moves on. San Diego State, I like them to beat McNeese State potentially. Or actually, McNeese State maybe upsets. And then I'll take McNeese to upstate there. McNeese State to upset San Diego State. There's a lot of states there. We'll take McNeese State right there, and then we'll take Houston. So we'll take Houston, and then from the bottom we'll take Tennessee. So we got Houston, Tennessee. I believe I said Creighton, and then we'll just go Arizona just to keep. We'll take Michigan State or Arizona. I still don't know there. Those are the bottom brackets, and then we got Purdue, Marquette on the Midwest, and then the East we got UConn and North Carolina. So that's what I'm feeling for the tournament bracket so far. Obviously, I'll break it down again here soon, and we'll see if anything changes. But that's my lean so far. Looking at the Big 12, they're going to get 9 teams in. SEC is going to get 7. As of right now, Big 10 is going to get 6. Mountain West 6. Big East 5. ACC 5. Pac-12 2. American 2. WCC 2. And the Atlantic 10 at 2 teams as well. Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you for the support. I think it's going to do it today. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know if my boy's going to come on tomorrow or not. I'll ask him, so I'm going to say no promises to that. So you'll either get something in your feed or you'll either get something in your feed on Friday potentially if I have him on later, or you'll get it on Tuesday. Tomorrow I should be appearing on Count Them by a Hook. We'll probably talk some more college basketball, because that's just the theme of the times lately, man. But yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Next time I come on the show, we'll have some conference tournament winners heading into March Madness, and we'll also be starting some of the bigger conference tournaments. A lot of those bigger conferences, like the Big 10, the Big East, all of them, they have games to finish up on this weekend pretty much. They have one more game, and then they start tournaments next week. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Really do appreciate it. Like I said, for sure appearing on Count Them by Hook tomorrow and Friday. Might have him on, no idea. And then if not, you will see me back in this feed on Tuesday. Let's have a good weekend. Let's have some fun. And don't forget, college basketball's almost over. So truly enjoy it, because it's not going to be here much longer. And then all of a sudden we got NBA and golf and baseball, and then the hockey's almost over too. It's crazy, man. We're almost to summer, so enjoy it while we can. And like I said, I will see everybody back in this feed either tomorrow or Tuesday.